prosecutor notify the complaining witness. Are you still gonna do that, or do you want me to?
Yeah, we'll go for it.
Now? Yes, I'm joining the meeting. Okay. I'm down on Overton. I'm on Tiny Neighborhood Association. Okay, this is my first time, joining the meeting, on virtual meeting.
Is that Miss Brenda?
So I don't know, just this to them.
Miss Brenda, is that you?
Yes.
And this is Camila. So every,
Hey, how you doing, girl?
great, so everybody can hear you. Yes, there's 3, 6, 9 of you citizens on the phone, residents, and there's 5 staff members here in the meeting. So everyone can hear what you say. 5 staff members.
Okay.
So everyone can hear what you say, and you can mute your own phone, or I'll mute it for you, okay?
Okay. Okay.
We're basically just waiting for a couple more people to join.
All right. Good morning, everyone. Regina Raftery, Crestview Heights. Hi.
Hey, Miss Regina.
Hello.
Good morning.
Okay, I'm muted again. Bye.
Turn my phone down. Mute is the best ever. Best button, yes.
Camila, do we need to address ourselves?
Not yet. Well, when you speak, you can just say your name and then your areas of concern.
Okay.
Let me
Yeah.
Look, I'm about to say, hey, Merk. Miss Marilyn, try hitting *6 on your phone to mute. Are you on the house phone or the cell phone?
I'm on my house phone.
Try *6, and I think it'll mute.
That's right, she's gonna watch it.
Yeah, so if you can hear me, that worked. So you'll hit *6 again when you want to talk. Oh, cool. You have 18 people here and 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Go for it.
So I don't, we don't have a police or fire report, so we just jump in after.
Can everyone just, you just skip it. I just left it on there just for, can we do a mic check?
Can everybody hear? Facebook
Yeah.
and, okay.
Here.
Everybody on Facebook hear us?
They didn't make a comment, so. We hear you.
Perfect. Well, welcome everybody. Thank you for tuning in. This is our June 1st breakfast. As you can see, we're expanding a bit. It's more than me and Camila here today. We're going to jump right into it. I know you all have a lot of questions. We want those questions to get answered. And then I've got some updates at the end, just on things going on in the city of Wichita. So I will kick it off to our MABCD director, Chris Labrum. We also have Taylor Nethercott, Harlan Bascom, and Matt Coleman here, and I will kick to you. Get started.
Thank you, sir, and hope everyone can hear me. As Councilman Johnson said, Chris Labrum, Director of MABCD. Appreciate you letting us be here, sir, and take care of this. I know there's been a lot going on. Just real quickly, because I want to get it to the experts to answer your questions. As you obviously are well aware, there's a lot going on. COVID, different things have, of course, impacted our budget a little bit. We're adjusting with that. Inspectors are very busy, have a very high caseload. We're actually up about 40% this year over what we were this time last year with cases all the way around. We did not bring on some of our seasonal staff that we normally do, so we spread some of that across inspectors, so they're hustling to make all that happen. Caitlin and Harlan are going to cover a lot on tall grass and weeds, illegal dumping, and vacant properties. especially illegal dumping has really spiked, as you might imagine, with some of the COVID things going on. So, code enforcement liaison, I know, is another topic near and dear to many, and especially to me. We have we got approval in the budget to expand that program, so we're working to do that. Looking to switch one of our inspector positions over to hopefully in the relatively near future have another code liaison to work with Suzanne. Again, current operations have kind of slowed that, but we'll work to complete that. And then another thing is I know there's often frustrations with timing of things, and we're always working that from both sides. We had begun, started to form the group and review everything we have. I really want to do an overall program review of all of our ordinances, our policy to enforce those, etc. Again, that was derailed by the COVID operations, but that's something that over the next year we will really try to put back together so that we get updates to a lot of our programs, are able to incorporate a lot of the feedback that we get from forums like this, and try to better serve the public. So with that, I will I'll turn it to Kaylin.
If I could get one sound check minute. Someone's chatting that there's an echo. They said it may just be the high ceiling. All right, go for it.
Ready for me? Good morning, this is Kaylin Nethercott. I'm the Neighborhood Inspection Administrator. I think I've met or talked to several of you over the years, both years that I've been here. What I thought I might do is talk a little bit about tall grass and weeds and illegal dumping just in general, in preparation for answering more specific questions you may have. Tall grass and weeds season is off to a growing start, this year. We're just under 700 complaints so far. As Chris mentioned, we typically hire seasonal inspectors to help with that caseload. We were not able to do this year because of COVID. So your neighborhood inspectors are taking care of that. Now, just a word about the process. The first time that we go in and abate a property is always the biggest lag time from start to finish.
Can you explain abate, the definition
Yes,
of abate?
When we have to go in and mow it for someone and then bill them for it. So when we receive those complaints, we have to notify them once specifically and give them time, the person who owns the property, time to mow it themselves. Then if they do not, we put that on a work order for a contractor. It's assigned to various contractors, and then the property gets mowed. We bill the owner, and eventually if they don't pay that, we assess it. Now that's pretty straightforward, but the tricky part is what happens if we have to mow it again. So a couple of things for you all to know about that. Just because it's been mowed once doesn't mean we're automatically going to go mow it again. We're going to rely on you all to report those properties as that grass or tall grass and weeds grows taller again. Then it goes automatically to a contractor to mow. But the city is so huge, and there's a lot of tall grass and weeds violations that we do rely on you all out in the community to let us know if a property is getting overgrown again. Now, one thing that we have done, we typically have 3 contractors. One of those was not available this year to work for us. So we're adding 2 more. We anticipate bringing on 2 more mowing contractors next week for a total of 4, which will hopefully help alleviate some of the backlog that we're experiencing. It always happens at the beginning of the year like that. It's a phenomenon. Grass grows, it rains, we get behind. So that's just a function of that type of work. I know you guys will have questions, but let me just give an overview of illegal dumping in vacant buildings as well, and then we can kind of open it up to questions on all of those, if that's okay. Illegal dumping is an area also that we've seen a spike this spring. Typically, our contractors expect between 10 to 15 pickups a week, and we are consistently averaging between 40 and 50. There's always quite a lot of talk about what can we do to prevent illegal dumping, and I will tell you that that's a very difficult thing to do. And our focus is generally on getting it cleaned up as quickly as we can versus the preventative side of it. If somebody dumps a tire and couches and that kind of thing, we really have no way to know who did that, nor a successful way to position our prosecutors to address that in court. If you see the remnants of illegal dumping, by all means, please call us as soon as you see it so we can get it scheduled for pickup so that it doesn't multiply, because that's another strange thing we see happen is one mattress will become 5 overnight and 3 tires might become 30. So we try to respond to those as quickly as we can and get them scheduled in our workflow so that they're taken care of in a timely manner. But again, we're gonna rely on you all to get that to us. I think some of you work through Camila on that. You are absolutely welcome to call our offices and report that directly. So illegal dumping, it's booming business this year. Third topic is vacant buildings. There are a number of those obviously throughout the city that are both residential and commercial. We deal primarily with residential in neighborhood inspection, and our building and trade side deals with commercial a little bit more. Our best hope on those is to watch and help keep them secure. So we have a couple of ways that we address vacant buildings that are unsecured. We have an in-house board-up crew that will do smaller jobs, and then we have the ability to contract that to board-up contractors if we need to do that, if it's a large enough job that we can't do it in-house. Now, there's a whole lot of discussion we could have about how do we get vacant properties to be occupied properties, and how do we turn those back into useful service. Really, most of the time, we're relying on change of ownership to spur something, usually through a tax sale, or family members that decide to get rid of properties, those kinds of things. So, I hope that is a general idea of the questions that you had. So, go, your turn now.
One question from Facebook is, what is the phone number or website to report?
Sure thing. Our phone number is 316-660-9220. And then online, our portal address, if you go to Sedgwick County's website, to MABCD's section of the website, you will see a little question that says neighborhood issues. If you click there, it will take you to our portal so you can submit complaints online. And I feel like maybe Camila also has that available in resources that you have. So we have the blue brochures, the neighborhood inspection brochures that talk about the scope of what we do overall, and then our contact information is on the back. What I just reviewed for you is on the back of that brochure. So we'll take complaints in any way that you want to give them to us. Quite frankly, you can call us, you can text us, you can email us, you can put them in online. You can use Access Wichita to do that. It's a little more cumbersome through that because it links you back over to our portal, but we get them from all sources.
Another question through GoToMeeting is Kaylin over city and county property mowing?
Just city. Good question. Our jurisdiction, MABCD is a county managed department, but neighborhood inspection, our jurisdiction is the city.
Is there a specific question about county?
It was just mowing in
Just
general,
general scope.
just a general
Okay.
scope.
It's a different rule set in the county, as you can probably guess. And land use covers it there, our land use section. It's still within our department, but it is not Kaylin's section.
So we have a technical issue on hand. Could everyone mute their phones or their computers? If you're on a phone, press *6 to mute, and you can press *6 to unmute if you have something to say. And actually, here's a good time. If you have any questions or concerns and you want to speak, please unmute yourself and go for it.
By the way, this technology is new to all of us too, so we're just kind of rolling with it this morning.
Miss Vivian, can you hear us clearly? Lori, how about you? Can you hear us?
Okay. Can anybody hear me?
Okay, now we can hear you, but there's an echo. Let me work on it.
Who's that? Did you hear me, Camille?
Now I can. I'm gonna have to let go of this mic. Okay, we can hear you, Miss Overton.
Okay, because I'm trying to listen to everyone else and I'm having a hard time hearing them. So, anybody, all I've understood from the other lady is talking about these properties to be, the lawns to be cut and all of that. Is that what she was saying earlier?
Yes, ma'am.
Or are we somewhere else?
Hold on, I'm switching devices so you can hear us. Right.
While she's doing that, there was a question of what is the time frame for mowing?
The first time that we mow a property, the question was, what's the time frame for mowing? The first time, it can take up to 30 days. After that, if it's a repeat complaint, it should be within 2 weeks. Hopefully less, but there is some weather dependency on that too.
Did you hear that answer?
Nope.
So I switched from the microphone to the speakers.
For output?
Ask for a mic check one more time.
All right, can you all hear now? On the go-to meeting?
Getting a lot of static. I just can't hear what people are talking about and who brought up the subject about the yards and how they're getting them cut. And who is that? What's her name? I didn't hear all of that. I didn't either.
Can you hear Camila speaking now?
What's that? My name is Marilyn Overton with the Matlock Heights Neighborhood Association.
Miss,
And whoever was giving the information out about the thing, I had a hard time. Who's question?
Question. What if you move your chair here for a second and let's see if they can hear you? Sure. Would you mind, just for a second, just to test
Just
it?
stand up here.
I
Yeah.
can hear Marilyn. Who is that speaking? Maxine. Yes, Maxine. But I can't hear them. I can hear you good.
Okay, this is a mic check.
Slightly, but not clearly. Yes, that's what I'm saying. It's loud, but it's not clear.
Is this better? This is Kaylin with Neighborhood Inspection. Does this help?
That's good. That's good. That's good. You did good, Stephen. Now, who is that?
Hi, this is Kaylin. I work with Neighborhood Inspection.
Okay. Amen.
Think we
I took Deb Legg's place when she retired a couple of years ago.
It's messing up. I can't hear it.
Ms. Melanie Overton, can you mute, push *6 on your phone and then try to hear us versus speaking?
You want to hit *6?
Yes, please.
Okay.
So if you, we're, to help with the echo.
You are way ahead of us.
All right, we're making some more technical adjustments to see if you can hear us. Miss Vivian, can you hear us?
Yes, I can. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Okay, we're gonna come back out to the callers and ask if you have any questions or concerns when it comes to illegal dumping, or tall grass and weeds, or nuisance complaints. Any question for inspection department?
This is Lori. Do I get a chance now? I'm not sure what happened last time.
Yes, Lori.
Lori, if that's okay?
Yep, go ahead.
Okay. Illegal dumping is not a problem in every city across the country. Cities where they have bulk pickup days once a month or twice a month don't have this problem. The fact that we have private haulers makes it seem as if that's not possible to set up. It is possible. The city is going to have to make that happen if we want to put a stop to illegal dumping or try to control it at all. Not everyone can afford trash service, so some people will be left out, but if my neighbors don't have trash service and they've got something big out front, I will invite them to put them in my yard. We're going to have to do bulk days. Once a year cleanups, and now our cleanup is in July. I don't know how many people are going to be outside getting stuff out by then, if we even do it. We're going to have to approach this in a different way. It's not an unsolvable problem. It is a solvable problem. We just have to try something different. That is what works in other cities.
Thank you, Lori. Ms. Overton, I know you wanted to say something.
She's off and she's ready to dial back in. And the other question was, when are we going to start bulky pickup days? Which was a follow-up to Lori.
And when they set dumpsters, they fill them really fast.
And isn't that paid for through county property?
Yes, it is, like through that, there's a specific tax, that the landfills charge, and those programs are all funded through that. Some of our county land use, nuisance program is funded through that as well in our department.
Time out. Can I have anyone that's not speaking, please push *6 or mute on your cell phone. If you're on a house phone, *6. If you're on a cell phone, mute. We have feedback from 2 other people. That's one of the defaults to go to meeting. Go to webinar, you can mute everybody. Go to meeting, you cannot.
You're outside. You need to put your phone on mute. We are hearing your wind noise.
Love how they govern each other.
Whoever the caller says.
Much better. Any other questions, concerns for the inspection department staff here?
I'd like to ask Rick Latham if the building paid commence a
Lonnie, can you say that again?
are paid plumbing, mechanical, and electrical supply houses are all 50. Are permits up?
Are permits up?
So I think, Lonnie, I copied that you're asking about, building and trades permits. So they are starting to go back up. May was a pretty good month. Commercial is still down. We are still a little concerned about, several of the developers and larger construction companies that have laid up projects. Residential has stayed pretty steady and is starting to increase again. Remodels in the commercial world are starting to increase again. So they are making we didn't dip too deeply. We did have some loss February, March, April, and then we saw a pretty normal month in May. Does that answer your question, Lonnie?
I'm sorry, I didn't understand what he was saying. Camila, did he say permits were down, but they're coming up?
Yes.
Yeah.
Can you hear me, Lonnie?
All right, so whomever caller 6 is, if you're outside or fumbling with your phone, that is you. If you could mute your phone, please.
By pushing *6 or
*6.
mute.
So if you can hear me,
It's whoever caller 06 is
Yes.
that keeps
if
making
you
noise.
could just hit *6 or mute your phone. Or maybe you have accidentally called in and haven't realized it.
None of us have called in, right? Making sure. You see in the corner where it says talking? It's calling it me.
That's caller 6.
It's me and 6 because of the wind. Okay.
Mike keeps showing that it's broadcasting.
I can't hang them up or anything. So I muted us for a second.
Yeah, it shows caller 6.
And yeah, I really don't have any settings to.
Camila, do you have the ability to mute others?
We don't.
No, ma'am, unfortunately on this feature, I do not. I'm wondering if someone has the headphones on and they're doing something else. But let's just proceed.
All right, I guess we can try to continue.
Yeah. Where do we want to pick up?
I feel like Matt needs this time to say, talk about the court's current format, because it's, you know what I mean?
Maybe that's right.
That's an impact for
Yeah,
them.
trying to pick up the backlog.
Okay. So we're gonna switch conversation and kind of talk about the environmental court process once a case goes to the inspection department and
This
follows
is
up.
Lori Lawrence again from Uptown Neighborhood.
Yes, ma'am, can you hear me?
Yes. Yes. Okay?
Yes, ma'am, go ahead.
My question my question or comment has to do with the blight bill that our former city council member, Lavonta Williams, tried to get through the state and was unable to do. That would make it easier for you all to take properties and keep them from being torn down by allowing someone to purchase them, even though you can't even find the owners. Do you have any updates on that? Do you know what the plans might be for this upcoming session? Is it still being looked at? I hope so, because I hate to see houses torn down. I hate it.
Now, so can you all hear me? It's Chris Labrum here. All right, hopefully we got this going now. So there are several initiatives on the table. There's an overall zoning code change that's being looked at to try to make a lot of things easier to do within the community. Now, part of that is a discussion on what to do with properties like you were talking about, the possibility of a land bank, as it is termed, and that would be a panel, it would be a community panel, and everything would be approved by the city council that would help to clean those titles, so to speak, or get those titles to where that property could be transferred and then put into use. And again, that's, I guess, the issue of taking houses down is another topic. A lot of that, of course, goes into what would be done with the property and the condition of the home.
Lori, did you hear that?
Yeah, pretty much. There's all that background noise that's making it a problem, though.
Yeah, sorry, Lori, but the bottom line is that, yes, you are correct. There's several of the things on the table that are designed to address that.
Vivian, can you mute your phone or your computer?
It's not her, it's caller
And I
six.
don't know who owns this, but that keeps interrupting you. I'm sorry. If you're telling me that there are things in the works, I'm very happy. I hope that's what you're trying to say.
Yeah, yes, it is. And so there should be some opportunities for further community input on those once things kind of get back to normal.
That's good news. Thank you.
Yes, I had a question on the housing.
Go ahead.
Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, when she was talking about the housing being torn down, will that be made public to the community? If they do decide to go ahead and like kind of auction off those type of homes?
So if there is a property that changes hands because the taxes have not been paid, that goes through a sheriff's auction. And that is very, very well publicized. Now keep in mind that a property has to be behind for 5 years or to reach a certain dollar amount before it would be considered for a tax auction. So unfortunately, they can sit there for a while like that before that would spur a change of ownership.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Is that state law, or where does that 5 years come from?
So that is managed through the county. There's no law based on that. It's local policy.
I think it is a state law.
And that, you know,
So it could change.
So state laws do govern that, but my understanding, and I realize this is not us, the reason I was in Topeka a few months back discussing just kind of those rules in general. My understanding is that the state law does not require it to be 5 years. I'm not sure what the state law is. I think it's two, maybe 3 at a minimum that you would have to give someone. As a county policy, the county has currently been doing those in 5-year intervals.
Well, the county does not spend a lot of time paying attention to the city of Wichita. They pay attention to the more wealthy areas that are on the outskirts that are not in our city. And we need to be able to go ahead and speak with our county commissioners, I guess, and try to convince them to make a change. It would be nice to have some input from you all as to what you think might be appropriate rather than 5 years. If state law says 2, which I'm assuming that that's correct, the county's made this decision, and I'm not sure why. It's probably long-standing, but it can be changed, so we're going to have to approach the county commission to make that change. Is that right?
That would be true. And again, we would have to check the state law minimum there, because as it stands now, if a property is 5 years delinquent and they pay a year or 2 of their taxes, it will drop off the sale. So we do battle with some properties in the county and the city that they stay just ahead of the tax sale in order to not have the property go up on auction. Which is strange to us, because generally those properties, probably is one of the reasons that's sparking these questions, generally those properties are not well maintained in those situations either. So it is kind of surprising that that they kind of do both, pay enough taxes to keep it out of sale, but also don't take care of the property.
I can mute the people. I found it.
Excellent. All right.
It's all good, it's technology.
Okay. All right, so it's 10 o'clock. Can we transition and introduce Matt? And kind of share a little about environmental court.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Matt. I'm an assistant city attorney for the city of Wichita, and I currently oversee the environmental court process. And so once we have been unable to get a property cleaned up per the city code, we've made efforts through MABCD, and we just are not making progress there. The case will then end up in a court proceeding. These are criminal cases, and so part of what happens is that it's going to follow a similar process that a lot of criminal cases are going to happen, and it's why these cases can sometimes take longer than I know people sometimes want them to happen. This is not Law and Order. They do not happen within a week.
Lonnie, can you hear him? Give us a thumbs up if you can. Somewhat.
Somewhat? All right, I'll try to speak up. If you can't hear me, let me know.
Okay.
Just got to turn. No, you just got to turn.
Camille?
Yes, ma'am, you back?
I was wondering because I'm trying to talk. Okay.
I'm gonna, hold on, somebody's speaking, we'll come back to you, okay?
Please don't forget me because I've been trying to talk because we've got a lot of questions out here and when people come on, I'd like for them to say their name.
Yes, ma'am, hold on.
Okay.
Go for it again. Say your name, Chris.
All right. My name's Matt. If people didn't hear that the first time, like I said, I'm an assistant city attorney for the city of Wichita. And so the environmental cases are criminal proceedings. Our goal with all of these cases is to get people into compliance, and sometimes that can be a timely process. The court process starts with the initial appearance, where the judge apprises them of what needs to happen, what the charges are, and what the possible penalties are. At that point in time, what happens is cases can go a number of different ways. People who can either request a trial, sometimes people choose to be represented by attorneys, and other times we give people just some time to try to get the things done. If we think people are making progress, are working with our liaisons, and or just making progress on their own, we want to give them time, because again, our goal is to get people into compliance, to get the houses up to code so that the neighbors no longer have to put up with those properties. And so our goal is to try to give them a reasonable amount of time, but without unnecessary delay. And it's a fine balance sometimes on some of these properties, but that is ultimately our goal. We try not to be punitive, but again, these are criminal cases, and so there are consequences for not coming into compliance that we have to balance. We also have to balance all of the constitutional rights that you would have in any other court case if you were charged with any other crime. So there's a fine line that we have to always be aware of in trying to keep everybody moving forward and trying to get properties into compliance while still making sure that their rights are assured in the criminal process. So I'd be happy to answer any questions anybody has about any of the court processes as well. So.
Oh, God, I can't hear nothing he said. Okay.
You gotta turn your phone up, or you can, how about you say what you wanna say, and we'll follow up with you after the phone call, okay?
You said what now?
Say what you wanna say, and we'll follow up with you after the phone call.
Yes, because I'm telling you, this is some bad communication. One thing I do want to talk about, someone talked about the blight bill. Can anyone hear me?
Yes, we can.
Yes.
All right. This blight bill, as you know, has been presented to the state, and it returns to the state, and they have rejected everything. But it hasn't been brought back to the state, because if we do not do something about the homes, and I think the other lady mentioned that, and the city's going to have to be more forceful to get rid of these homes, because we have so many. A lot of the problems is landlords don't want the city to take over because they want to use them. But if we do not try to do something, I live in this neighborhood 55 years. These blight homes are destroying our neighborhood. I don't care about the landlords and what they're doing right now. They're for themselves, but they're destroying, and they're trying to make the laws to fit them. We that live in this neighborhood, and we care more about it. The laws also says that the state, and they'll call it Central Inspection Division. They work hard in trying to keep the neighborhood cleaned up. They write out and report all of these properties that are not being used, or when there's grass not cut. And with these blight homes, we've got rats, cats, all kind of animals. Might have a zebra in there. We don't know, because we can't go into them. But what we need to do, and this is something I believe, is that with these houses being empty, the Central Inspections goes in, makes reports, and they send them to the court. The court sometimes do something, and sometimes they don't. We have a problem with our attorneys in this city. They're not being considered about the neighborhood. They will sit there and let those things sit on documents, and then the people that are working for the Central Inspection, they are going back and have to do more work. It is not right, and someone needs to be accountable. I have been into the judge's office, and I have sat and listened. I have a home in my neighborhood that's been sitting for 4 years that should have been taken care of, torn down, whatever. But because of our judges, now I'm saying this, our judges, and if it was in some other area in the neighborhood, they would not let this happen. I have been mad and upset. I have brought my attention to Council Brandon and many officers. But if we do not make our judges and also our city managers accountable for who they pick, we're going to keep having this problem. We talk about it over and over. And when I've seen for myself, they're just keeping a job, but they're not helping us. So I would suggest that people go to the courts and see for themselves how these judges that have been hired by the city, and we're paying their salary, how they're doing. They're not helping our neighborhood. So that's another thing. Another thing is that right now we're going through so much in the city. Our policemen, they're going through a lot. All policemen are not bad, and we need our police department. And I want to praise them and many more. Everybody's not bad. My mother always said there's more good in people than it is bad. We have a lot of problems, but the people at the city that's sitting there, and I'm talking about the mayor, my councilmen, all the councilmen, you can't do it all. But you need to listen and be more powerful. Because of the state right now, we have people in the State House, in the Topeka. But we have to fight them and listen to what we're saying, because we have more power when we come together. And I'm getting upset, but I do know there's changes being made, and it's a lot of changes, and which I'm enjoying them and seeing them. But if we don't come together and do it, especially with these homes in Wichita, I have never seen nothing like this. We're constantly spending taxpayer money to clean up property that has been bad for 10 years.
Hey, Mark, you got one more minute.
My minute's up?
Yes.
Okay. I'm through, but I sure like to meet with all of you guys in person and see what we can do instead of talking.
Yes, ma'am.
Our judges and attorneys do a good job. They have to apply the law. They didn't create the laws. Our city council has worked hard for over 6 years to get the state law changed. Our city is very concerned. I think our judges and our attorneys do a good job.
Thanks, Lonnie.
It's Lonnie Barnes. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So I kind of go along with the. I'm a landlord, and I own property in several of these neighborhood associations. I've spent the last couple of years, and I'm still waiting to see most of these neighborhoods that surrounding our community here. 75–80% of them are made up of landlords and renters. But we don't empower or give enough power to the landlords to help police each other. You know, a bad landlord and his property going down next to mine is just a detriment to me as well. It doesn't help. You know, but there's everything that's geared now is geared toward low-income homeowners and home occupied. And most of that is not our neighborhoods. And the biggest group that you have out there are our landlords, but I'm still waiting 2 years to hear a landlord association or some organization that will pull us together to give some power and some voice coming from it. But we got to help police ourselves. We got to help the inspection police them. And we got to quit talking about it and do something about it.
Thank you for that.
Brandon, you want to call and ask if there's anything else?
Are there any other questions from the GoToMeeting folks?
Oh, we have some Facebook comments. You see Ann on Facebook?
Yeah. So Ms. Ann Fox of Habitat for Humanity asked us to consider increasing fines for high grass and weeds. Out-of-state property owners say the fines are cheaper than hiring someone to mow regularly. Also, Mr. Winston Stith offered to help form a Northeast Landlord Association. So I would recommend Mr. Barnes talk with Mr. Stith, and Chief Ramsey, per the email you received, will probably reach back out to you when things calm down here in the city of Wichita. He's been focused, obviously, on making sure we keep the peace, but he will get back to you, as he said in the email, about the Landlord Association in the city of Wichita. Are there any other questions from those on GoToMeeting or comments?
Yes, I have one question. My question is, I just, with everything that's been going on with this, the George Floyd thing, and I know they said that they were gonna, make up a committee for did they say like a mayor's committee that they would address their problems straight to the mayor? And so I just want to know how they're going to pick the people to be on that panel and who could be on that panel.
Great question. So I'll answer this one, but I was going to talk about that towards the end, since we're speaking with our MAPD department. The committee is something that you email the mayor. His email address is bwhipple@wichita.gov. He is rotating people every 3 months, so if you're interested, send him an email with who you are, qualifications, and reasons why you want to be a part of that committee. It's a committee that will start putting together policies to help us with the issues we have in the city of Wichita.
And committee title again, diversity, inclusion, and civil liberties,
Civil rights.
civil rights.
Any other questions regarding tall grass and weeds, environmental court inspections, blight, things of that nature?
I do have a question about the weeds. We turn them in, and then they don't do anything about them, and then we have to turn them in again. Why?
So the first time that we receive a report, this is Kaylin with Neighborhood Inspection again. The first time that we receive a report, we have to send a legal notification of violation to the property owner and allow them time to mow the grass on their own. That is a legal process that we follow. After that, if it is not mowed within the time frame, which is usually 2 weeks, then we will assign that to a contractor and it will be mowed. Now, from the time that we get the complaint until we send the notice, until we get it to a contractor, that can take up to 30 days, which feels like a long, long time. But again, that is the process. Now, the second
It's taken a
time,
lot of manpower and finances to do all of that, isn't it?
it does. But eventually, we're going to submit that as a special assessment back against the property if the bill remains unpaid, and it's very important that we do that legally.
Yes. Again, you have rights, and we're attempting to make sure your rights are protected as property owners as well, and so we have to give proper notification. If we don't follow those steps and it does end up in the court proceedings, the case could end up getting dismissed for failure to provide legal notice, and that's not going to make anybody happy in the long run either. So we have to make sure we're following our processes the courts have outlined are necessary to do that, so that we can, again, we want compliance, we want the grass to be gone as well, and so that's why we have to follow these very particular procedures that I know sometimes seem cumbersome, but they are necessary and they are important to follow.
Has environmental court been hearing cases?
Has the environmental court been hearing cases?
So for the since COVID happened in March, municipal court has not been hearing any cases. At the end of May, we reopened up, and so we are beginning to hear cases again. This last week, the week before, we did start hearing some environmental cases, and in fact, we did an entire day where that was the only thing the city of Wichita heard, and the inspectors did a wonderful job of making sure that they checked almost 100 properties in 215, I'm sorry, I undersold them. 215 properties in one day that they went out and rechecked, and that we had people in court, and people showed up, and we're moving those cases back through the system and hopefully getting going again. I know we've got a lot of cases to get through still.
Thank you.
Are there any other questions?
That's line one.
Comments? Yeah, go ahead.
So, for inspection, so I know you guys go out and write these up and stuff and do these things in here, but I'm curious about the data, and if it's even visible for the community, for the neighborhoods to see type of write-ups we have out there, the numbers that, how long they've been out there, and the numbers that have been out there. Data will help you to drive a lot of the situations, whether it's grass or torn down houses or houses that have fallen down. What's driving the biggest quantities and the biggest oversights, and those that have been out there the longest, to tell you how to focus your resources and maybe some of those things to get them. So is there anywhere visible that neighborhood associations or communities can look at that and see the history on those?
That's a good question. Typically, when we get inquiries, it's less about the big picture data and more about individual properties. People are most concerned about what's on their block or right next door to them, what they see every day. So the portal, you can look up any individual property and see what's going on with it. But I don't believe we've got any overview data out there. Now, that information is shared, because there's obviously a number of ways you can look at that. That information is shared by council district every month. We can tell how many raw case starts we have and case closures that we have. Just in general, I can tell you that we're about 8 to 1 nuisance cases to housing. Okay, so that's, whereas I think in years past, well before my time, this was the housing division, and we focused more on housing, and some mergers happened and different things changed, and now, far and away, our primary time is spent on nuisance conditions.
Okay, I muted everyone again. Our time frame, Councilmember Johnson has some updates to give, so we will have to hold the rest of our e-court, environmental court, and inspection department questions, concerns, till after he gives his updates, and come back to another meeting, continue this at another time. So I'm gonna yield the floor to Councilmember Johnson for other city updates.
All right, thanks, Camila. First, so with park and rec activities for kids and teens. So this summer, we have summer activity camp. It's 5 days of nonstop fun. You can take your child to a neighborhood camp so they can stay connected with friends. Those camps run 5 weeks. To enroll, call Mac Adams at 316-337-9222. You can call Evergreen at 316-303-8036, or you can call them at Woodard Center at 316-303-8015. Registration is now available for 2020, and camp runs from June 29th to July 31st. It's a shortened camp because of COVID. We want to keep everyone safe. The summer activity camp is licensed by the KDHE and is open to children ages 6 to 12. I'll give you this website. It's really long, so you can also come back to this video if you're on Facebook and get it. It's wichita.gov/park-and-rec/camps/pages/summeractivity.aspx, and it is in the District 1 newsletter, as well as summer youth and adult sport programs. Those are available as well, same website. We also are having a free summer evening rec for youth. Each site will provide a variety of fun activities and free food for the first 50 participants. So that means get there on time so you can eat. Beginning each Friday night, starting June 19th for 6 weeks. No program on July 3rd due to the 4th of July holiday, of course. The sites are our rec centers in District 1, and that's Edgemoor. You can go there, again, Friday night starting June 19th from 6:30 to 8:30. Lynette Woodard, Friday nights from 5:15 to 7:15. Linwood, Friday night from 6:30 to 8:30, or Mac Adams, 7:30 to 9:30. Again, those sites are free activities for our young people. We're working with community members to come in and collaborate with our young folks as well. And free food for the first 50 participants. And this is an effort to make sure our young people have something free and safe to do. Also, the center, which is next to Iasis Church on 11th in Minneapolis, Minnesota, is offering summer STEAM and empowerment camp, June 22nd to June 26th, from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m., ages 9 to 12. You can contact the center at 316-265-6840, or on Facebook. It's facebook.com/thecenterwichita. Wichita Collegiate School is offering summer explorations from 7:30 a.m. to 6 p.m. Monday through Friday, starting June 1st. So it started already to July 10th. Full and half days, ages 2 to adult. You can register online at www.wcsks.com/school-life/summer-explorations. The YMCA is offering 10 weeks of summer camp, starting Monday, June 1st, so it's already started, through Thursday, August 6th, ages 4 to 16. Age ranges vary by camp type. Online registration only, and that is at ymcawichita.org/programs/camps. YMCA branches returning to normal hours and operation starting June 22nd, and North and Northwest branch water parks will open June 20th. Youth program summer session starting in July. You can check out the weekly update, ymcawichita.org. It's a long address there, but I think you can find it from that website. And then Wichita Mom, please visit this website for other summer programs and activities. You can go to wichitamom.com/around-wichita/summer-camps-programs. And then different social media outlets that you can continue to get up-to-date information. Of course, facebook.com/Wichita District 1, the District 1 page. Progeny, facebook.com/PG/Progeny ICT. Progeny is PROGENY/ICT/post. And then Safe Streets Wichita, facebook.com/Safe Streets Wichita. Lots of park and rec updates and opportunities for our young people. Also, we want to encourage everybody to complete the census. District 1 historically in 2010 was undercounted in some areas by up to 90%. And right now, I haven't looked as of today. The last time I looked, there were lots of Northeast Wichita that was undercounted thus far, up to 50%. So we're doing a little better, but we need everybody to take the census. If you haven't done it, you can do the census survey by calling 1-844-330-2020 or go to 2020census.gov. I will say Danielle and I completed it. It took about 6 minutes because we have 3 kids, but there's a few questions, nothing really personal for you. Again, it's safe. The government's not sharing that with anybody outside of report out what our population base looks like. It's important to do that because those numbers impact redistricting. If our districts are out of balance, we will have to redistrict, so undercounting can be detrimental. Undercounting also reduces the amount of funding coming in, so the issues we're talking about today, tall grass and weeds and blight, there is some HUD funding that comes in to help out. If we're not counting everybody, then we'll get less money than we deserve. And those are our tax dollars. We send them to DC. We need to be counted so it can come back. So I want to encourage you again, take the census, make sure your friends and family do the same. There is no citizenship question, so you don't have to worry about that. So again, everybody in your household, we want an accurate count. District 1 is growing, and I want to make sure that we get the representation of dollars back that we need. So again, you can take it by calling 1-844-330-2020 or go to 2020census.gov. Atwater updates, free Wi-Fi is available up to 2 weeks at a time through the Hotspot program sponsored by AARP. That's been a great program here. AARP of Kansas started that, I believe, last year. And going out, we've had some great comments of people finding work because they didn't have internet access and couldn't come up here all the time. They checked it out, went home, did a resume, submitted it, found jobs. So we want to make sure that that's available to you. It's a great service. We're also working on potentially expanding that service as well to help more people out. So again, free Wi-Fi hotspots. You can come up here, check them out 2 weeks at a time. Don't worry, after 2 weeks we cut it off, so you can't use it after 2 weeks. So you might as well bring it on back, get it checked in, and we check them back out to folks who need it. Atwater is open right now from 9 to 5 with a limited number of residents at a time, limited number of people coming in for other services. And masks are required in city facilities. If you don't have one, we do have temporary masks we will issue to you so that you can protect yourself and others while you're in this space. Lastly, curbside tax services are available now. You can call 303-8016 to schedule an appointment. Again, tax deadlines are coming up. They were pushed out because of COVID and everything kind of getting shut down in the country. So you still have time to file your taxes, and we're still here to help you. Again, schedule an appointment because there is limited folks that come into the facility. I've been getting a lot of emails switching to COVID-19. I don't have a lot of updates outside of, as far as the reopening piece goes, but I've had a lot of people asking us about swimming pools. I've had a lot of folks asking us about swimming pools. We haven't made a final decision yet as a council. There's concern about the financial impact and also our aquatics plan. If we opened our pools, there'll probably be some different restrictions so kids could have fun, but not everybody will be in the pool at once. Everybody wants to pack it out. I know we all want to get back to what normal was, but we're trying to keep safety in mind. So we haven't made that decision yet, but one of the factors outside of funding is if we keep every pool closed this year, we can do phase 1 and 2 of our aquatics plan and have all of that done by next year when it opens up. But those of you who want our pools open, you have another advocate, because my 7-year-old is telling me we need to open our pools. So she is on your side. We should have a decision pretty soon to announce to the public, but we are working through that and taking everybody's consideration in the mind.
We have a COVID-19 question. Have incentives become more flexible to support smaller businesses?
So incentive-wise, that's more of a county deal. They've got $100 million. I think they just released something where you can apply for funding. I haven't had enough time to really look into that just yet. But they do have $100 million, and they're talking about ways to support. And I know that business support is one of those conversations. I just don't know the details right now. But I think they're trying to be as helpful as possible with that $100 million.
Council member?
Yep.
I did meet related to the virus. And last Tuesday and this Tuesday, some smaller businesses are being approved for incentives where they normally wouldn't be. Is that correct?
I'm not sure. I'll be honest, my whole focus the last week has been on the uprising and making sure that I attend as many of these protests and hear from people as much as possible. So I don't have an answer for that, but I can look it up and get an answer back to you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. My last update, I didn't even see this in front of me. Camila's great. She had all of this here and I was just reading stuff. So Kansas Count census stuff is here.
You're fine.
Lastly, with the national uprising going on, I know there's been some criticism of some of my colleagues about not being visible, but they have been very supportive and decided to try to get work done and see what folks needed. They've attended rallies. They're continuing to talk about going to various spaces to hear from people directly. We've been to, I think, 3 together or 2 together in a prayer deal this morning, but we're trying to talk to as many people as possible. We've received demands from various groups like the NAACP, Project Justice, ICT, other people just sending us, I think it's 8 change or 8 count. Anyway, we know as a city, per that site, we do 3 of the 8. I think we do a little more than that, but I'm waiting on verification. So we are receiving demands. We will evaluate, respond here very soon. We will also inform the community of what we actually do as a city and try to work to meet some of those demands as well. I do want to commend everybody for all the peaceful protests. I know there was some different stories in the media. Every protest has been peaceful. I've been to those. We've only had a couple agitators at a few. Unfortunately, they are the ones that made some of the headlines, but all of these activities have been peaceful. Folks are passionate for a good reason, and it's an opportunity right now for us as elected leaders and leaders in the community to listen and find ways to address those. So did want to say that I'm very appreciative of our council coming to the various rallies, and speaking as a council member, but also taking off the council member hat as an activist. It feels good to have your elected leaders show up. Yesterday we had county commissioners show up at the rally at City Hall, and they spoke. Our chairman, our pro tem, and Commissioner Howell showed up, so thank you to them. And now we're looking at what we can do to be responsive. So all of those things have been good, and again, I appreciate peaceful protests. I think there's 3 more today, a couple more coming up in the next week. But as a council, we're beginning to work on getting responses to the demands that we have received. But again, appreciate everybody's support. It's been good to see all the unity around this issue. And it was good to see that at least the right thing happened. The 4 individuals that, well, especially the one, but all 4 officers having charges now around that. And our police chief has been really good about looking at those policies, and we will be responsive as far as reform goes. So I think that was it on announcements. Oh, no, got one more important one. So Tuesday at the council workshop, we're gonna talk about fireworks. So I hope that you all tune in, give us your feedback. We have a packet, so I'll be reviewing that this weekend, just over the responses from last year. Just a quick summary: fire department responded to 18 fireworks calls in 2019. That resulted in $64,000 in loss, 3 structure fires, 2 non-structure fires, and a few miscellaneous calls. 51 injuries reported to area medical facilities, 1,142 complaint calls between July 1st and 6th, and 59 citations issued for illegal use of fireworks. And we will have a full presentation, a heat map, and all of that broken down on Tuesday at the workshop. And there was a few surveys that went out. One key point to make is 51% of those who took the survey thought the city should allow all fireworks legal in the state, while 24% wanted to keep what is currently allowed and 19% wanted to ban all fireworks. So, I want to sprinkle you with that. I'm interested in hearing your feedback. We will be talking fireworks. Whatever decision we make when it does come for a vote will likely be in effect this year. So again, if you are interested, if you have concerns, if you want complete freedom, if you want banned, if you want certain restrictions, please let us know. We're interested in hearing all feedback. And I know many of you are watching this as a District 1 breakfast, but I always encourage you to reach out to all of the council. Let us all know. All of our emails can be found at wichita.gov. Click on Get Information, click City Council. There's a button at the bottom of the screen where you can email all of us. That email also goes to staff, so somebody will read it, and we will take that feedback into consideration as we make a vote on that. So that is all I have as far as updates. If you all have questions or comments about that, or want to jump back in and talk about more issues, because I have received a lot of emails about tall grass and weeds over the years, so wanted to give those updates.
Tell me you got 10.
And we have 10, 15 minutes. So, floor is yours.
Let me unmute. You are unmuted.
Okay, this is Maxine Bostic, Kenmar, and I have sent in requests I have gotten very good response, and I thank you for that.
Thank you.
Thanks. It's good that it's always been here.
Yeah. Thanks, Ms. Bostic. Is there anyone else?
This is Lori Lawrence out of Uptown Neighborhood. Is there any word on open streets yet? Because we border on Douglas, that directly affects us. Do you know if they're doing it or not doing it?
I don't know for sure. I wouldn't think so, because we're not really in a rush to encourage people to come together as much right now. I can check with Troy and see, but I don't think we're doing open streets this year.
Really? It's not till like September or October or something, so I thought maybe they would.
Well, the issue is that's when the potential second wave could hit. And I've seen data that showed mid-summer to late summer and maybe early fall. So I think everyone's just being cautious right now. We have low cases in the state of Kansas, and I think that's because of all of the pretty strong actions that were taken early. Now that we're opening back up, we're trying to see what that may look like. And I don't know, that decision may change, but right now I think it's enough.
Thank you.
Thank you. I'll try to catch your next meeting too. I'm sorry for missing the one on the 4th. Anyone else?
I'll just tell everybody thanks. We always appreciate the feedback. You know, we need to know what's going on, and that, you know, yeah, it always helps when we're trying to suggest policy to the council members and work with them to kind of own that. So thanks for your time and that. Definitely shoot us a note. Go through Camila. Go direct to Kaylin and Harlan. If you've got anything that is helpful, or you know, to anything for us to look at.
All right, with that, again, thank you everybody for tuning in. Just to echo what Chris just said, please always let us know what's going on, and you know, your suggestions on policy change. You can give that to staff, you can give that to us. I know I'm always interested in hearing what staff has to say and what they've received and how it can work and cannot work and the complexities of it. So please continue to share all your thoughts and ideas with us on that. And again, the whole tall grass and weeds and blight is important. As you can see, we're here today. I probably get on staff's nerves sometimes with all of the emails and stuff. I haven't recently just because of COVID, but we do know this is a serious issue and we are addressing it. We've been talking about it. We've had higher level discussions with legal and the city manager, as well as Chris and our inspectors, and Harlan and Kaylin as well. So we're continuing to work towards that. I will also stay in touch with our senators and representatives, especially those that represent District 1, just to let them know what's going on and see if we can get help from the state, but also maybe push some things down here on the city level. So thank you all for tuning in. I think next month we might have an in-person breakfast. We'll see. This is more than it's been, so maybe we will have one or half capacity, but talk to you all next month. We are having it next month. I added that back after COVID canceled the in-person ones and wanted to make sure that we stay in contact and engage with you. And I do apologize to all tuning in. I have a lot of emails and my focus this week has been elsewhere. So I will try to catch up over the weekend and respond back to you. So I do apologize for the delay in response, but I will respond to everything I receive. So with that, I hope you all have a wonderful day. Get some good breakfast in you and some coffee, and I will see you next month.
Look at this over too. Finally got
Thank you. Have a good day.